WYFI Norfolk, we serve the Lord with gladness.
WYFI presents Insight. The Public Affairs Department of WYFI brings you interviews each week with people who are involved in public service work and vocations that are especially valuable to our area. Insight deals with problems that are of special interest to you.
This is Bob Duckett, your host for this afternoon's program, and our topic for discussion this afternoon is crime prevention. And here to talk to us about that subject is Master Deputy Bob Walsh from the Norfolk Sheriff's Department. Good afternoon, Bob.
Good afternoon, Bob. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Well, we thank you for coming, and I understand you have a guest, your friend Matthew, who we'll introduce a little bit later.
That's right.
And to start off with, folks, we'll tell you that Bob Walsh is a ventriloquist, and I'm going to start by asking him, Bob, how did you first become interested in ventriloquism?
From watching ventriloquist Paul Winchell with his partners Jerry Mahoney and Knucklehead Smith as a kid on TV. That was a time when television was wholesome and family-friendly.
What was the biggest influence in your career as a ventriloquist?
My God and Savior, because he gave me the gifts to be one in answer to a prayer. I had accepted Christ as my Savior from a Gideon Bible when I was on active duty in the Navy on board a ship off the Philippine Islands. About 2 years later, I prayed a simple prayer asking God to give me the gift that I could share him with others with. And I used to be a real shy person, and God answered my prayer, basically. He gave me 3 different characters with 3 different voices as a ventriloquist. And now I do youth crime prevention programs in public and private schools, as well as Christian programs in Christian or church schools.
Do you ever think of your dummy as being alive?
Yes, that's how a professional ventriloquist performs. So the audience thinks that the wood figure can see, think, and hear, just like a real person.
What are your goals in youth crime prevention as a ventriloquist?
To use humor to capture the attention of children and then give them a message. The messages of concern and hope teach that choices do have consequences. Kids write me letters saying they want to make good choices. I brought some with me. One fourth grader, he wrote, I learned that a person's respect for themselves keeps them out of the slammer. A person's disrespect for themselves leads them to the slammer. And let me read one more for you here. I learned that if you're going to respect someone, first respect yourself. I know now that stealing, selling drugs, and smoking is bad and disrespectful to yourself and others. I hope that you can prevent people that do drugs, and I choose never to do drugs, ever.
Those are some great comments. Bob, what is it like to be a ventriloquist?
It's a privilege and honor being a tool for good to communicate prevention and character issues to school-age children. You know, it's important to offer positive alternatives to what our kids are force-fed through television and Hollywood movies. The U.S. News and World Report reported several years ago that our kids watch an average of 100,000 acts of violence and 8,000 murders on TV and movies before finishing the 5th grade. And Reader's Digest ran an article not too long ago on how R-rated films have increased, even though G and PG movies have done better at the box office by a ratio of 2 to 1. So to hear young people interact during a Choices with Deputy Bob program and later during question periods is very encouraging.
Do you ever throw your voice in public places to see how people will react?
Occasionally, I'll use the muffled voice for a response. It kind of sounds like this.
Hey, let me out of here.
Sounds like he's in a little box, you know.
And what kind of reaction do you get from that?
The kids laugh. And then I open up the lid, and then I'll say, hey, I told you I couldn't breathe in here. The kids like that. It's a good introduction.
Where did you get the dummies?
From a master woodcarver in Washington State.
Do you work alone in crime prevention?
No, I have a partner who is an auxiliary deputy. His name is Tony Scarangella. Tony was the voice of the Crime Crusader long before McGruff was ever heard of. In recent years, he's been recognized as the man behind McGruff that says, take a bite out of crime. The reason he's not with me today is because he's been ill and he's in the hospital. Additionally, my wife has been a helper. She's illustrated a Choices coloring book that has become so popular that Sheriff McCabe, the Norfolk Sheriff, he has had a contractor print 5,000 copies of them each year for the last 4 years.
Where do you get the clothes for your dummies?
My wife altered the deputy sheriff outfit for Matthew that you'll see. Actually, you won't see it, but you'll hear a little later. And then I have two other characters. One of them is an inmate, and she altered that. And then the third character is a student, and I got his at a store.
What type of exercises help you become a successful ventriloquist?
I use a few things. Hand grips are real important to get your muscles in your fingers strong, because you have to have good string control to synchronize the dummy's mouth to spoken words. And secondly, I practice all three voices out loud and in my mind when rehearsing the scripts. And thirdly, there's a few things there that kind of go hand in hand. Creative writing for script writing, and creative writing for public affairs, and creative writing for letter writing skills.
How long does it take you to write and perfect a script?
Actually, it takes several months, because you first get the idea, and then you write it, and then you proofread it, then you make edits, then you get feedback, then you make more changes, and then you give a live presentation, and after you give the live presentation, you want to modify it again to make it better.
How long does it take to learn a dialogue?
It takes about 2 weeks to learn a new one, to properly prepare for it, to give an educational program.
What types of media recognitions have you received in your career as crime prevention specialist and ventriloquist?
To the glory of God, I've received the following. I've been on WNPS, Channel 47 in Norfolk, doing public service announcements. WNPS, also Channel 48. I think they're kind of related in Norfolk. I was on there with McGruff. I've been on WTKR, been in the Virginia Pilot newspaper, the Norfolk Compass, the Virginia Police Journal, the Sheriff Times, which is a national publication put out by the Community Policing Consortium, and the Virginia Sheriff Magazine.
Besides school presentations, are there any other programs you do during the summer months when school is not in session?
Yes, other programs are available to children on a limited basis for weekday church vacation Bible schools, parks and recreation programs, and boys and girls clubs in Norfolk. If anybody's interested, they could contact me for one of those kinds of programs in the summer at 664-4697.
Okay, Bob, we'll give that number again at the end of the program. This afternoon, folks, we're talking to Deputy Bob Walsh with the Norfolk Sheriff's Department, and he works in crime prevention. And at this point, we're going to introduce to you his friend, Matthew. Good afternoon, Matthew.
Good afternoon, Dodd. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing real good. Deputy Dodd and I are going to talk about drugs today.
Well, go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, Matthew and I were taking a drive down Old Ocean View not too long ago, last fall, and he convinced me to stop the sheriff's car and pick up some leaves.
Yeah, I did. I took up leaves for my girlfriend because she likes to do arts and crafts, you know. Seemed like a good idea at the time, you know.
Yeah, it did. The only trouble was about an hour later something happened.
Yeah, I started getting real itchy. I got poison ivy. Yeah, well, actually, I'm laughing now, but I wasn't laughing then, you know.
You know, my pal, he was itching in places, man, he was itching worse than my flea-bitten dog.
Yeah, I was itching in the ear, I was itching up the nose, and in the mouth, on the tongue, underneath the armpit, and in between the snelly toes.
Boy, that's pretty itchy.
Yeah, it was, I tell you what.
Well, what did you learn from all that?
Well, I learned that things don't always look the same on the outside as they do on the inside.
Yeah, you can say that again.
All right, I will. Things don't always look the same on the outside as they do on the inside.
Yeah, like drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, that's right.
What the movies show us a lot of times, and even some television programs, is that drugs are the thing to do to be popular and things like that.
Yeah, but what the movies don't show you, Deputy Dodd, Mr. Dodd, and our listening audience, is that drugs destroy minds and lives with overdose and even heart attacks.
Why are we telling them this?
Well, they're telling you this. They're telling you this because we love you, we care about you. Drugs make you lose control, and that's why abusing them is bad.
So I hope that the young people will make good choices to not to put anything in their body that would hurt them like that.
That's right. I'd like them to stay in control and not go out of control. And you get to stay in control by not putting any of that stuff inside you in the first place, you know.
Well, that's right, Matthew.
But some of the kids may not understand how you stay in control, though. How do you stay in control?
Well, basically, if you've got drugs in your body and you're riding a bicycle down a road, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, Well, I don't know. I'll probably hit a tree or something. Yeah, exactly. Well, how about you, Deputy Dodd? You drive the sheriff's car, right? Yeah, I do. Well, if you had drugs in you, what would happen to the car? I'd probably run into another car and have an accident. Might even get killed. Yeah, exactly. See what I'm saying? Drugs make you lose control. And that's why I'm using on this dad. But you know what? A lot of our cities and some of our schools, they have people walking around the school, kind of sneaking around there, Matthew, and they're trying to trick good kids just like you into taking drugs or snorting or selling drugs. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. You got to learn to make your own choices, though, kids. Say no. That's right. Say no to drugs and yes to school. That's what you got to do. Then you can make good choices that'll keep you in control and not go out of control. Well, you know, I work in the Norfolk City Jail, Matthew, and I have seen some people in jail who are in drugs. As a matter of fact, about 8 out of 10 people that are in jail are in there because they have some form of substance abuse problem, either with drugs or alcohol. That's terrible. And about 7 out of 10 have dropped out of school. Oh, man, that's sad. What a waste of people, you know, just making those bad choices and going to jail and everything like that. And I hope the kids won't make bad choices like that, because you don't want to be no dummy, do you? No, they don't, Matthew. Well, about staying in control, though. You had a little song that you wanted to sing for the kids, didn't you? About if you're happy and you know it. Wasn't it something like that? Yeah, it kind of goes like this. It's a little ditty here. Sometimes when I go to the school, the kids help me sing this out, and they clap their hands and everything, and it's really kind of cute. And it kind of goes like this. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and your life has surely showed it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp the feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp the feet. If you're happy and you know it, and your life has surely showed it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp the feet. If you're happy and you know it, say no to drugs. If you're happy and you know it, say no to drugs. If you're happy and you know it, and your life has surely showed it. If you're happy and you know it, say no to drugs. And then we kind of do it in school. When they're in school, we do it. The kids all say it at the same time real fast and get everybody into it, you know. And basically the point is that kids realize that they don't want to put that stuff in their body. And that's the kind of message that we want to tell them, right? That's right. Because we got a problem in America with drugs, you know, and alcohol, and newly saying that you should do it when you shouldn't do it. I mean, that's a lie to tell somebody to do something they shouldn't do, right? That's right. So we got to make those good choices and remember that drugs make you lose control. And that's why abusing them is real bad. Anyway, I come to schools and I talk about that to the kids, you know. And we also talk about some other things, too. Like what? Well, you know, character issues and things like that. Because kids got to have character, because if they don't have no character, they'll not use drugs or something, or not steal or something, and not try to do something bad, you know. They might drop out of school even, and all that stuff is related to making good choices and being a responsible citizen, I mean, yeah. That's right, it is. Okay, Bob. What do you think of Matthew here?
Well, Matthew is quite a guy there. And Matthew and Bob, our time is almost over now. What thoughts would you like to leave with our listeners? We have about a minute left.
Oh, you go ahead, Deputy Dodd.
Well, I'd like to tell the young people that it's real important to make choices that will build you up. Staying in school will build you up. Saying no to drugs will build you up. Being kind to people will help you get along with people. Don't use violence. Use a soft answer to turn away anger, because hard words stir up more trouble. Right, Matthew?
That's right. And if you want to have us come to your daily vacation Bible school in the summer or Parks and Rec program during the weekday on a limited basis, we're available. Call 664-4697. That's 664-4697.
Thank you very much, Bob and Matthew, for being with us. We really appreciate your time with us.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah.
This has been Insight, an informal, informative interview with one of our community leaders. Insight is a public affairs program of WYFI.
Master Deputy Robert J. Walsh was a sworn officer for 20 years with the Norfolk Sheriff's Office. He is now retired, and he has approved this message for people to use their talents to make a difference in their communities.